Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Welcome, everybody. We're so sorry we're late. Technical issues, whatever. YouTube's like that sometimes, or, user error in this case. But just want to introduce everybody to Freya. And
Issues, whatever.
Freya runs
YouTube
the
like that.
dog. Oh,
Or, use. Sorry.
that's okay.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Freya runs the YouTube channel Viking Dogmanship, which it didn't really occur to me that Viking was a because you're from Norway, and so Vikings,
Yeah.
like you're alluding to that Viking history, which I think is pretty cool. But anyway, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, Freya, tell everybody what you do and your business and everything like that.
I'm Marta Hareide. I live in Norway and I'm 40 years old. I work, I have my own business, a dog hotel combined with the doggy daycare. And of course, I grown up on a farm, so we have a lot of animals and yeah, everything that comes with it. It's,
Oh, so
I
it's not
say,
just dogs. Wonderful.
yeah. I say it always looks very beautiful on pictures and on social media and stuff, but there's a lot of hard work doing this.
Running a farm, I'm sure. I'm sure. Especially when
Yeah,
it's not just dogs. When you have when you have so many different animals you have to care for, that
yeah. The
that's no
other
easy
animals are
task.
actually easier than dogs, like the horses and the
Really
chicken. Yeah,
interesting.
they're living their own life. They're just happy to see me when I come for feeding and
Sure.
cleaning and stuff. But of course. The dog part of it is even more challenging
Yeah.
because you have to have contact with all the customers and all the dogs and the different needs they have and backgrounds. So I see a lot of different things that I usually don't have a colleague that I can talk to about these
Mm.
things. So when I found your channel and see the videos you're making, I really like your approach and the way you handle business. To
Well, thank
say
you.
it, say the least.
I
Yeah,
appreciate
yeah,
that, Fred. Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you. Yeah,
yeah,
uh it's interesting that you would say that the dogs would be like harder than because of course I can totally relate to that statement. And it's
yeah,
because one thing I wanted to ask you about was what the culture is like in Norway is revolving around dogs anyway, because I don't know if you know much about the culture here in America, but the culture around dogs, I don't think is all that healthy, and so it can lead people to create fantasies about dog ownership, but the challenges and the realities of dog ownership, especially if more than one dog, it's
yeah.
not it's not so easy. And so
No, no.
especially when and I love seeing in your videos you always have multiple dogs. So when you run like a daycare or I think it said in your bio too, like that some of these dogs stay overnight as well.
Yeah,
Um, that presents a lot of challenges, and so I've been in those situations too when you have multiple dogs and you're caring for them and facilitating those things for more than one day,
yeah.
especially when you have new dogs coming in all the time. Um, it presents just a completely different set of challenges than if you have your own group of dogs. But why don't you
Of
go ahead
course.
and give us like the day to day, like what does your day to day look like with
Uh,
your work?
well, the dog daycare starts. I only have open from Tuesday till Friday, and it opens 7:15. And they can come deliver the dogs between 7 and 8. So of course
Mm,
we start putting everybody outside and let them go to the toilet and all this morning stuff, and then we take them back in, give them breakfasts, and let them rest for about 2 hours
okay,
before the day starts, and then it's full on go from around the
all right,
10 to yeah, yeah. So, but I have a few helpers that are here helping me walk the dogs and pick poop and do all the all the hard work with me,
The
so I'm not
the
alone.
tedious the tedious, thankless work, right? That's
Yeah,
good. I didn't know
it's
you
the
had a team.
evening.
That's great.
Yeah, they are not here full time, so they're only here a couple of hours a day because I've been running this since 2014 when I started. Um, and of course, in the beginning, I had only a few dogs, and everything grew bigger with the
Hmm.
mouth by word, if you know what I'm saying.
Yep.
Yeah, and yeah, it's we we go hiking or biking or we play ball with them or whatever the dog needs. And as I said, each dog has a very different approach. You know, the
Hmm.
little scaredy dogs that have been picked up and they're scared of
Baby.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it could just as well be a German Shepherd that's scared of everything,
Sure.
you know,
Definitely.
because I can see the owners tend to do a lot of doting on their animals, like they're,
Yeah.
oh no, oh
Yeah.
baby, and the
Yeah.
dog is like, okay, I have to protect every,
You're
you
right.
know,
You're right.
yeah, yeah. So it's very typical, and I can see it across the line. It doesn't matter what breed it is,
Right.
but uh, but I think we have a lot of the same mindset about how to raise a dog, and
Mm.
I do believe it's critical to start early with
Yeah.
socializing. And I don't mean
Definitely.
go meet every dog at the street or in a
Right.
dog
Right.
park. uh, I have four Jack Russell Terriers, and they're known to be you know, they have a bad rep, they're terriers, but
Yeah.
I have always had them loose around my animals, rabbits, chickens, all this. I trained them from they were small, and they're the easiest dogs I ever been around. They can go
Really? The
along.
Jack
Yeah, yeah,
Russell's
yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
Okay.
They're
So now
but
that
they
now
listen
the
to me.
and I noticed that in your videos too. And the one I really liked that you had them all at the beach. It was one of the more
Yeah,
recent ones you did. And I think yeah,
yeah,
you had like five, six, seven dogs at the beach off leash. I mean, it
yeah.
looked like so much fun. And I noticed I could see the Jack Russells. So those are your dogs, and the Jack Russells are all yours, all four of them? Or did you
Yeah.
say three or four?
I have four Jack
Four.
Russells.
Okay.
They're 5, 10, 16, and 17 years old.
Wow, no kidding.
The one I was holding when you opened it is the oldest one. Yeah,
So the black and white one, then I assume because he looked a little bit older. Is he one of the
yeah,
older ones? Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I
And
could tell he looked like.
I lost my Labrador in June. He was 13
Oh,
years
I'm
old.
sorry to hear that.
He was like
Sad day.
your dog. He knew everything. Like he knew what I was doing, and if a new
Hmm.
dog came in, he knew how to behave, how to act.
Mm.
Like he was my helping hand.
So
So
he
now
he was
I'm
like he was like you're a gray goose.
yeah, he was my Grey
Excellent,
Goose.
excellent.
Absolutely, yeah.
So
So
what other dogs are yours then? Was it a Cane Corso that you have as well, or is that a breed that
yeah,
looks
he
sort
was
of
only here for I took him in because his owner died. So I took him in for fostering him until I found a new home. Yeah,
okay?
because yeah, he was a very big challenge, and I didn't want to take him in because of my older dog that was 13. Uh, I didn't want my older dog to have to, yeah, take a 2-year-old Conner course. So on a, yeah, I wanted to have a happy last year with my dog and give him the best I could. I knew which way is what it was going before he passed in June. So I spent the last year spending every minute with this Labrador of mine because yeah,
That's good.
I owed him that. But yeah, the Cane Corso was rehomed to another home uh,
Oh, okay.
where there yeah, yeah. So
And
but
he's doing. Does he
I
still?
wanted to keep him but I
Yeah, I don't
couldn't.
blame you. I don't blame you.
Yeah.
Does he still come to visit sometimes, or
No. He went to I live by the coast in Norway, and the new owners they lived in far from other
Bit
people and
bit far.
other
I got
dogs.
you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Logistically, it
So
wouldn't work.
yeah, no, he was very good with certain dogs, but the critical years of this dog's life was not. Yeah, it should have been a better socialization for this dog, because I could tell he was reacting at children and he was reacting at, and it's natural because it's a guarding breed,
Yeah.
men with beards and all this. And yeah, if I had him from a puppy, I would have kept him, but
Hmm.
no, too
I
much
get it.
work with my older dogs.
I
Yeah,
get it. I get it.
yeah,
And from what I understand, and I haven't really verified it, but it makes sense to me that the Corso lineage actually, from what I've heard, goes back to ancient Rome, and the Corso was actually like the Roman guard dogs, and they, I guess, were much even bigger than they are now.
yeah,
Um, and they were, I guess, when troops would come to like an invade parts of Rome, the guard dogs were the first to go out there,
yeah.
which I thought would be. I mean, can you imagine like a bunch of Corsos just charging at you?
Yeah, no,
No, thank you.
no,
I'm
thank you.
good. I'm good.
Yeah, I
That's a
understand.
breed I respect, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I understand that it's a popular breed. They look good. They
Yeah,
they are big, cuddly bears at home with their family. But I think there's a few breeds that I love and adore. But for myself, it's too much hustle. I know a few
yeah,
like,
yeah,
a few dog trainers who got themselves some dogs.
yeah.
The African lion dog. What did they call them?
Oh, is it like the Boerboel or
Yeah, the
there's a
Borbor.
Dogo,
Yeah,
yeah, Boerboel,
yeah.
Dogo Argentinos or
Presa Canario.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
or Tibetan Mastiffs, or yeah,
yeah,
these big, powerful dogs
yeah,
and I think a lot. And I actually was listening to Larry Crone. I think he was talking to Ivan. They did a new podcast, and they were talking about this, where a lot of these, like the newer people that are trying to make a splash on social media, especially since they're younger, they get it in their head where, okay, I'm gonna get the biggest, baddest, and a lot of it's like Belgian Malinois. They get these dogs, they're really not, they don't have the experience for, but they think, well, if I can get one of these dogs and get a social media thing going, it's more of an image thing, and it just,
yeah,
you're setting yourself up for disaster, in my opinion, if you
yeah,
go that route. You
yeah,
don't, you haven't put in the legwork to really understand what comes along with those dogs. um, and even nowadays, because I know what you mean, where like I have a lot of respect for Cane Corsos, but I don't know if I'd really ever want one. You know what I mean? Um,
absolutely.
Especially in living in an apartment. Hell, there's no way. I don't even think it would be allowed. But unless I had a bigger house or something, I may consider it. But it'd be one of those like down the road kind of
Yeah.
things, you know.
It depends
So
also where you live. If you live in
yeah,
a crime-stricken area and
right.
you have the time, the money, the place for it, I don't know. It could work. But if you just want to have a dog, you want to go out and don't have to worry about what might trigger whatever is built in to their
Yeah,
DNA,
yeah,
then I would.
yeah,
Goose and Marley, I think they're great dogs. They can be intimidating. My
yeah. That's
Labrador, when he
yeah,
started barking and the car was shaking, of course people like, oh my God, what's inside? And I knew it
hmm,
was Marley, and if you opened the door, he would just jump out and want a belly rub. But
right,
but I
right.
felt I felt safe with him when I was walking on dark roads, and he would let me know a little growl if somebody was coming. A long time ahead, and I would take it into consideration what he's trying to communicate to me. But it
Right.
was always very easy to talk to him, because if I told him to sit and stay while I went and did something else, he would sit and stay until I came back, because yeah, He was my soul dog. I miss him every day.
I know what you mean.
Absolutely.
I had that sort of relationship because my last dog Bruno was um still to this day when people ask me what's the most difficult dog you've ever worked with, I still always say Bruno. And he was my
Yeah.
dog.
Yeah.
He was just he was just cut from a different cloth, and even though he was a half English bulldog, half beagle, so he wasn't like a Corso or a German Shepherd, but his attitude was so much bigger than his size, and he was still, I mean, he was a 65-pound dog. Like, he wasn't a small
Yeah.
dog. He was a
No.
powerful dog too, but he was one of those where I had such a good relationship with him. He taught me so much, especially given the severity of the issues he had. I mean, he really put me through the ringer as far as um, understanding how crucial some aspects of building the right relationship with your dog is, especially when you have a dog that's at such a higher level than just your average dog that really doesn't have that many serious problems. And so
No.
and that was, I even ask myself nowadays too, like, would I want to do all that over again with a new dog? And I say no. I wouldn't.
I,
I'll help everybody else go through that,
yeah.
but I'm like, would I want to take on for my, like, a personal dog? I don't think I would. I don't think I would,
No.
to be honest with you. So
I
I'm
wanna.
grateful. Oh, go ahead.
No, no, no. I wanna listen.
No, I was just gonna say
I was.
I'm grateful to have gone through all of that and then got a dog like Goose, who, the issues she had when she came to me weren't severe, and her social skills are just exactly what I was looking for. Because my I wanted my next dog to be able to help me with other dogs, and she just has that skill set in spades, and so it just ended up working out. She comes in a bit of a smaller package than what I'm used to. I never thought I'd have a dog as small as her, but she's also a little tank. I mean, she's a little dog, but she's not small. And she,
No.
like you said, she does have this dominant presence about her too, which I really appreciate, because
Yeah.
when she's around bigger dogs than her, it doesn't intimidate her. She doesn't care about that. She
No.
has her attitude. If I like to say she's like the perfect mix of Kaylee and Bruno, my previous two dogs. She's like,
Oh.
if they, even though she's an American bulldog and neither one of them were, she's like the culmination of the two of them. It's
Oh.
perfect. So
Yeah. That's awesome. I get. I understand your feeling. I
yeah,
remember. I'm guilty myself. And when I was younger, like I have always been crazy obsessed with dogs. Also, since I learned how to walk and talk, my parents were like, "Oh my God, you're totally obsessed with dogs." So it was a natural path for me because I was always watching all my neighbors' dogs when I was growing up. If you know it, 11 at night, they were like, "Hello, can we get our dog back?" And I was like, "Okay,
I'm
fine,
not
I'll
done
come
yet.
back with your
Yeah,
dog." So, and I remember I was dreaming about, the huskies that look like wolves and
yeah,
the dogs with the blue eyes and the Australian shepherds with their flashy coats. But I realized very early on that it's not for me.
I know what you mean. I know
Yeah,
what you mean.
I see a trend now. Like it's a trend to get trendy dogs that
Yeah,
looks good on social media. But I see there's a
right.
lot of health issues with them also.
Yeah,
Um, yeah. So and not only also their needs for training and yeah, it's a
right.
big responsibility to take. All the herding breeds, people are getting border collies because they look very good when they're working.
Right, right.
But you will always see the one that the dog will try to take bikes or cars or it's so built in. Yeah, I saw you had a border collie on in a
Yeah,
couple of months ago. Yeah. So I
yeah.
saw it was kind of the same issues, but you worked very good through them.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah,
So, but still,
Chance is a very interesting. She's very interesting border collie, but um, I was very pleased with how that day went. And then I think it was like 2 days after I dropped her off. Her owner sent me a picture. They went to Home Depot to pick something up, and she was in the back, and they took a picture of her, and they're like, she's not barking at anything. She's not stressed out or anything. I'm like, "Oh, so
Yeah,
good." I love it when
yeah,
clients just be out of nowhere. They'll send me a picture, and it'll be like some kind of progress report, and everything's going well, and I'm like,
yeah,
oh, thank you so much. And that's half of what I really love. If I go to a client's home and they agree to record, I love that because not because it
yeah,
gives them, they can see what we did, how we did it, but it also gives a window to anybody watching. They can see, how did these sessions go? If I have similar issues with my dog, can I apply some of these things to my own dog? But when I also take a dog in for a day or two, I really love to be able to record that because it can show the process of, well, okay, what issues does this dog have, and how do we work through these things? What does that process look like? And Chance was a really awesome one because I only spent 7 hours with her, and even in that 7 hours, the clip I shot in the car in the morning of her being all stressed out and drooling and being anxious, to that that clip at the end where she was completely relaxed and sleeping in the car. It was like, that's so satisfying, and for to be able to show that in such a quick amount of time, and then for the owners to see that and the owners to study it. To me, it's just like an invaluable resource for them to have, but anybody else who may have those same issues, that you apply those same principles and go through that same process. And it may not be perfect, but the rough idea is there, and you may be able to get similar results for yourself. And the working with dogs like border collies, I think, is, for me, it's fascinating because you have a lot of breed stereotypes, and having a dog like that having such a quick success and a quick turnaround shows that breed is important to me, but it's also a secondary thing. I
yeah,
look at the mentality of the dog, what's happening on a social level, and then I kind of factor in the breed. It's more of an afterthought.
yeah,
If I see patterns in behavior of that dog that to me don't really make sense on a social level, then I think it would make more sense to explore that on a breed level.
yeah.
Um, but like I don't know if you saw the video when I had her, but I even busted out the flirt pole, and I was trying to demonstrate that her issues had nothing to do, like, she had no interest in the flirt pole whatsoever. I tried to play fetch
No,
with her. She didn't want to chase anything. So it was just a small way to show that these issues to me weren't necessarily border collie related. They were
no,
socially related, and it was a relationship issue between
yeah,
her and the people she lived with.
yeah.
And so, and I mean, that's, as you know, that's the whole focus of my channel. And so, um, but I guess because I wanted to ask you too, because I noticed in your bio it said you guys do behavioral modification. So is the work different for you when you have just a dog that's coming in for the day, for like just to stay, and maybe you have a dog that's coming in that needs behavioral work? Do you still integrate them in the same group, or do you separate them, or how does that look for you?
It totally depends on the dog because I can tell when they even arrive, before they arrive in the gate. I can tell the relationship the dog has with its owner. Like, is it lounging towards
Yeah.
and want to come in, and it has the attitude about, like, oh, I'm here, and ooh,
Yep,
then
yep.
I know,
And the
okay, this
owner's
is
very passive, and
yeah. And the long
Yeah, yeah,
leash,
yeah, yep, yep.
oh yeah, then I know. Yeah, then I know I will take the dog in first and get to know the dog by myself. Maybe take it for a walk and just check for the small observations,
Mhm,
for the reactions it might have. But I also have many of my dogs, also my Jack Russells, they never come running towards another dog. They stay. If I tell them to stay there, they sit and stay and wait while I work the other dog. So I like
mm,
to have dogs that don't come and challenge the new dog. They
mm,
just do whatever they always do, smell a tree and pee somewhere, while the other dog might then want to approach them and stuff. But I don't let the dog approach until I know the dog will listen to my commands. It's just something I always have done because I do not want my other dogs to have a bad experience.
Hmm.
I used to let my Labrador be a little bit dominant, if you know, yeah, a little bit like Goose, just
Hmm.
let other dogs know where the story, yeah. But as you say in your videos, it totally depends on what the correction from the other dog will be.
Right, right.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, you got to be able to anticipate the dog's response. And so,
yeah,
yeah, you can set yourself up for a bad situation if if you're not able to assess that. Okay, will this dog actually match that and turns to a fight, or will this dog accept it and understand its place? Because that can happen. You can cause a fight that way. But yeah, if you know how to properly assess those situations and know and be able to anticipate how it's going to play out. And there is some risk involved,
yeah,
because sometimes things may escalate. But that's why I would say it's crucial that the dog that's doing the disciplining is always operating on under your authority. And so that way, if you
yeah,
have to step in immediately, your dog, you have complete control over that dog, and you can stop your own dog from taking it even further. And so it's
yeah.
just easier to break those things up, or before things reach such a level where now it's dangerous. You can diffuse that situation pretty quickly.
Yeah,
Um,
100%. Yeah,
yeah, but
I've
I
seen
know
it.
I know what you mean, because there are some dogs where I'm sure my videos. I have no issue bringing them in right away and goose meeting them, but there are other dogs where if they were to come in, I wouldn't go about it that way. I
Yeah,
I
yeah,
would be kind of baby stepping it. Um,
yeah.
because those dogs there's a much higher potential for things to reach that dangerous level, and I don't want any of that to happen.
No, of course, no.
Right.
But usually there are no bad dogs, but sometimes there is a seed or two that I see
Sure.
is from bad, terrible breeding.
Yeah.
The dog
Yeah.
can be perfect here with me and the other dogs, perfect, but the owners might be too weak, or it's some dogs just utnytte på engelsk. I'm looking for a word. They're challenging their
Hmm.
owners, if you know what
Hmm.
I mean. Like
Yes,
they
I
know
know exactly what you mean.
exactly where they have their owners,
Yep.
and
Yep.
the ones that are hiding behind their feet, or they're acting like they're somewhat scared, but they're not. If you know what I'm
Hmm.
saying.
I know
But
exactly what you mean.
yeah, so
Yeah.
sometimes I tell the owner, yeah, just give me your dog, and you can leave, because I want to spend time with the dog without the owner.
Without the owner there.
Yeah,
Yep.
so I can, yeah, because then I can have a clearer, yeah, to see how this dog is behaving. And as you say,
Yeah.
you have to be a leader. You have to be a leader for the
Yeah.
dogs, because yeah, it's
Absolutely.
the
No, and
main.
that's a huge thing that I learned over the years, and it makes such a difference when you remove the owner. I don't care if it's aggression, anxiety, whatever. You can like the second that owner is out of sight,
Yeah,
you'll see the real dog underneath, and it's such a
yeah,
fascinating thing to watch because I've seen it
yeah,
so many times where as soon as the owner's gone, I've had dogs where they're like going for my face, trying to kill me, and then as soon as
yeah,
that owner's gone, it's like it stops, and then
yeah,
but then usually those are the dogs that like the one I'm thinking of in that situation. He was very scared, very insecure, very tense, very nervous,
yeah,
and so that was the dog underneath it all. And when the owners got around, he was very empowered, but he also felt the need to assert himself to everything because, like you said, he perceived his owners as being too weak.
Yeah.
and so they weren't providing the leadership he needed. So he felt like he had to play that role on behalf
Yeah.
of them, and that, depending on the dog, that can be a very stressful position to be in. So um, it's just amazing when so I'm sure you've seen a lot of dogs where you get the owner away and you just get a different dog, and it's pretty wild.
We had
Um,
a boxer dog here, and she was super great and super happy and super playful. And when her owner came to pick her up, she went from being the happiest dog in the world. She just turned around and like
yeah,
hated everybody. And
yeah,
I was like,
yeah,
and it was conditioned. It's conditioned because the owners have done this so many times, and you can see the body language on the owner totally transferred to the dog. So it was a long, difficult road to help the owners with this behavior, because
yeah,
yeah, of course they have children, and when they're out walking and passing other dogs, and anything that this dog perceived as an uh, enemy, it's
a threat,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it's yeah, and then it's conditioned, and it's not even something that is an enemy at all. It's yeah,
Yeah, it's just
it's
like this habit because they've done it so
yeah,
many
it's a habit.
times, and the
Yeah,
owner has allowed it so much that it's just like this knee-jerk reaction now. Every time the dog sees a person or a dog, that's just the place it goes because that's what it
yeah,
always does.
yeah.
Um, but I think it's one of my favorite stories, and actually it's the same owners and dogs I was just talking about. Where I went to these guys' house and they had a pit bull, and they babied the shit out of this pit bull, spoiled this pit bull to death, and this dog was like seriously aggressive. And
Oh,
so when I met him, I even told him, I said, hey, I'd like to meet him in the backyard, just me one on one. Well, I think they were
oh, I
scared
think
of
I saw
doing
your
that.
video. Did you have a
Yeah,
video of it? Yeah, I've seen it. I've
no,
seen it.
no, I didn't record that, but I did talk. I told this story before in one
Okay,
of my videos.
okay.
Yeah. But for those watching, I went to their home and I had told them over the phone when they hired me. I said, "Hey, well, let me meet the dog one on one in the backyard." Well, when I got there, one of the owners was out there with the dog on the leash, but then a muzzle on him, and I was like, "All right, I'm just gonna roll with it." So as soon as the dog sees me, he starts dragging the owner. He's like making a beeline to me, and I said, "Just let him go." And he's like, "You sure?" I'm like, "Just let him go." And they had a huge yard. I mean, this yard was massive. So this dog just starts charging at me and literally lunges. And if it had, but lunge right at my face, and if it
Yeah,
had a muzzle on, so it muzzle punched me.
yeah,
But then anytime, I first thing I do is grab the collar, and then I'm trying to just gain control of the dog. And usually that will work, but this dog actually was still trying to. So I'm trying to talk to both the owners, and one of them's recording it, and this dog's like muzzle punching me, and I'm trying to. But then I could tell that this wasn't. And so I told both of them. I said, "Please, just go inside. Just go inside. I want you to watch from the window." And as soon as they went in the back door, and the dog couldn't see him anymore, he just stopped fighting.
yeah,
And then I let go, and then I still had him on a leash. Now they had a prong collar on him. I took the prong collar off. I don't, to me it was there was no need to have a prong collar on the dog in that situation. Um, but as soon as they walked in, yeah, he was a very insecure, tense, scared dog, and I was just kind of reading him, and I would touch his back, and his back was twitching every time I would touch it. And every now, so I started to walk him around, and he was following me. Then he would kind of lunge at me here and there, but if I just blocked him, he'd stop. He's like, okay, yeah, that's not going to work. But
yeah,
that fight was so much. The first instance I applied that boundary, he's like, okay, I'm done. And then I was able to actually give him commands, and he was listening. I'm like, and so the funniest part about it was one of the owners stepped outside though, and he's like, "Yeah, we're the problem, aren't we?" And I said, "Yeah, but I'm glad you can see that now because now we can address it."
yeah.
So still one of my favorite stories. But it was just so cool. He came outside. He's like, "Yeah, we're the problem." Yep, you are. But it was set.
Did they manage the dog
What's
afterwards?
that?
They get to manage him afterwards? Did he get better, the dog?
Well, here's what happened. So we had 3 sessions total, and they were making progress, except for because here's where the owners are their own worst enemy. Like we had 3 really good sessions where there was clear progress and a difference in their dog when I was there and instructing them. But now one of the owner's fathers had died, and one of
Yeah.
the issues they were having was they, like I said, they spoiled the shit out of this dog. So they were allowing the dog to kind of push them around. And they had a bed for this dog in every room of the house. They had a bed on the bed in the bedroom, a bed on the couch in the office, a bed on the couch in the living room. And I said, listen, no, 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 just put all the beds on the ground. He can't sleep with you in the bed for like we got to strip all the privileges away, and they just couldn't do it. They could not sleep. The dog had to be on the couch with him, had to be sleeping in the bed with him. And I'm like, listen, his father just passed away, and he even admitted. He said, "Yeah, I need to get over my needy emotional bullshit because that's what's leading me to keep the dog in the bed." And I was like, props to you for admitting it, but until you can start to set these boundaries consistently, like you're not gonna get there. And so,
It's
um,
crazy.
yeah, that was just one of those things where the no matter what I did or said, the owners just weren't. There was those emotional components of it that they couldn't get themselves to do. And so it's like, well, I can't help you then.
I would never like accept if any of my dogs had this. There would be no bed in my bed or anything
Right, right.
because I would be so disappointed, and they should treat their dogs in that way. Like I got a Siberian
I've never even heard of that.
yellow
Okay.
lion dogs. It was an older couple. It was an older couple, and they called me because they didn't know what to do. Maybe they should put him down. All this, and I knew that okay, this is just a dog that probably sits in the couch, and when they get visitors, this dog will uh, charge at whoever sits next to him on the
Yep,
couch, or
yep. Very
uh,
familiar with that.
when they're taking him to the car, they can't get him out of the car because then he will attack them.
Wow. Okay.
So I told them, oh, just come by and I will show you because it's much easier than me explaining. So they came, and the dog was in the car when I came. So I just went over to the car, and the dog was on a leash, of course, because I said, please just leave the leash on the dog. So,
Hmm.
and I just take the leash and pull it a little bit tight so the dog won't
Can't lunge at you.
bite me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just hold it, pick him up, take him out of the car. Now, this is how you take him out of the car. And then they say, "Oh yeah, we can't brush him because he will bite." So I kept the
Mm.
leash the same, and I brushed him and petted him, comforted him because he was a good boy. So this is how you brush him. And then yeah, but how do we get the leash on when we need to go outside? And then I said, okay, so what do you do when you ask your dog to come put the leash on? No, they give him
Hmm.
treats.
Oh, of course, of course.
Yeah. So this dog has figured out that, oh yeah, the treats, the everything. uh, Dogs are so smart. They are
Yeah, yeah.
incredibly smart. So yeah, and of course I know there's a positive only method, and I see a lot of these dogs. They react to everything, to tractors or
Yep.
machines. And this one lady, she had a cheese, a bag of cheese. I don't know, a tube of cheese. So
Mm.
every time she took her dog out and they were passing something scary, she gave this dog cheese. Cheese,
Really?
cheese. Yeah, this is what she learned at this dog center. And I'm like, yeah, because every time your dog sees something scary, you give your dog cheese. So of course,
Right. Right.
this dog wants, yeah, this dog wants to react at everything because there's always a price for it. But I bet you, if one me or you took that leash and just went past the scary tractor or whatever, the dog would just pass it, and then we can
Hmm.
give the cheese. It's like,
Hmm.
why do you um don't fool your dogs?
Hmm.
That's what my message. Like, don't
Yeah.
come. It's okay, And the dog is like, oh, this I can work with this. I can work
Yeah.
with this cheese
Yeah. And I don't think
tax.
they people because I understand what they've been told about that. They think, okay, well, if I give my dog something positive when it sees something that creates this negative reaction, well, I'll reframe it in the dog's mind to see that thing as positive, and it doesn't work that way.
No,
You
no, no,
the
no.
outcome usually, yeah, you're rewarding the wrong mindset, and
Yeah,
um yeah, and I've never bring food out when I'm walking, or when we're working on leash stuff. I'd never have food. Like it's not even a thought. The leash is all you and the leash are all you need, and that's
100%.
the leash is such a powerful tool of communication when used correctly. There's no need for to put all these extra
No,
things in the middle, you know. But see that I was curious about, like I said, the culture. So is the all positive stuff really popular over there too? Is that a big thing in Norway, or is that like a mainstream advice?
yeah, it is a little bit. It's a little bit, but thankfully there are a few common sense trainers and dog enchilados here too. It's, but yeah, the thing in Norway is that almost all dogs are intact, females, males. So the biggest issue is all the all the intact males when there are females in heat, and
Mm,
of course
yeah,
everybody is in heat all the time. So
yeah.
especially in young dogs, the around 9 months to 2 years, uh, owners have issues with getting the connection with their dog because they're
Mm,
so upset with smells, and it's hard to
yeah.
override that. Yeah, uh,
So
with a
the
male dog. Yeah,
spaying and neutering are not like common practice like they are here. That's
no,
not a okay.
because we don't
Now
have the
what?
issues here. We don't have a lot of. We don't have a lot of centers with dogs that are not wanted. Usually, if people
Okay,
have a dog that they can't have anymore, they rehome them themselves. So we're a
okay.
small
So
country. It's only 5.5 million people living in Norway. So it's in a small scale, and I love that. I love to learn the differences between America, which is a giant country,
yeah, it's a big
and you have
country. Yeah.
3.5 million pets in uh, uh, what do you call it? Shelters. Yeah.
Mm.
Uh,
Yeah, there's
and of course,
so many dogs
yeah,
in shelter. You know,
uh,
the
so
breeding is
sad.
out of control. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's really
And
sad.
all the backyard breeding and all the pet shops, there should
Yeah.
definitely be better laws. Here in Norway, they're super strict with keeping animals. Even my dog hotel, it's they have been here many times to check the lighting and the air and the uh, angle of the floors towards the drains. Yes, and everything has to be up to date and follow through to the, yeah,
That's really good
everything
because
is
there's
up.
only I don't know if you're familiar with the American Kennel Club, but they're like a bigger organization here in America, but it's not mandated, say, by law, but the American Kennel Club does say you get a dog from a breeder and there's some issues with that dog, and maybe you have some issues with the breeder, well, you can contact the American Kennel Club, and um, they'll do like these checkups. That I guess they have the authority to do that. They have and some breeders they have partnerships with, like they're recognized by the AKC as like legitimate breeders. And then other breeders, if you have issues with it, you can actually have them go kind of inspect it. And if not everything is above board, the AKC, I guess, will pursue legal action. Um, so it's almost kind of like an unofficial organization that maybe tries to keep some checks and balances in place, but there's no like regulational body that is really out there, trying to make sure breeders are doing a good job, or facilities like what you have. Although I don't know, maybe the daycares here, since they're the legitimate businesses, there may be people that go check on that sort of thing. I'm not even sure, but that's great though that there's organizations over there that do check up on things to make sure
Yeah, it's very good. But I
yeah, you
also
may.
see the trend that we do also have backyard breeders here too. Like the trend that mixed dogs are healthier than
Yeah,
and yeah, pedigree dogs. It's been
yeah.
I see a lot of people who just mix border collie with golden retrievers, and it's a
Oh,
crazy.
that's like the doodle craze over here. There's a doodle for
Yeah,
everything anymore. It's just like, and I've worked with a lot of doodles, and they're some of the most neurotic dogs I've ever
they
met.
are. They are
And
absolutely.
yeah, it's just like, and because I'm not really, I personally, I'm not. I understand. I know people get them a lot because they're supposedly hypoallergenic. But for me, I just don't understand what the appeal is. I'm like, I don't know why do so many people want these doodles? It doesn't make, they don't appeal to
What
me
they don't
personally, but
realize what they don't realize is these dogs need to be cut at least 4 times a year, and every
yeah,
time they go outside, they bring their hair is like a cloth that brings in everything from outside, like
yeah, yeah,
pollen, dirt. So it's how hypoallergenic are they really? If you know
yeah.
what I'm
Well,
saying? Yeah,
I didn't think about that. Yeah, because they may not shed and they may not hurt your allergies that way. Yeah, but yeah, they go outside and their fur picks up all kinds of stuff, and
yeah.
I guess I really thought about that. That's an interesting point. And
I
then
think
yeah,
it's
you
a
have
lot of psychological.
right, right.
Yeah,
Maybe it gives that placebo effect, like, well, my
yeah.
dog's hypoallergenic, so I got nothing to worry about. But um, now is Norway, because I know they banned crates in the UK. Are crates banned over there too?
No, not yet, Scott, and I don't think it will be. They just have there's a norm that they don't want the dogs to stay longer in a cage than 6 hours.
Okay,
So
I'd say
so
that's
it's
reasonable.
yeah, it's like no dog should sit longer than 6 hours, and if you are away a whole day, so you need to have somebody to come let them out and let them pee and stuff. Yeah,
Okay, that's pretty. I think that's reasonable because it's not.
yeah,
I mean, I don't know how you would enforce it, but it's a reasonable
yeah,
um, rule, I guess. Um,
yeah.
Now, what do you see? Because I'm assuming being over there, what you see on social media is probably way different than what we see over here. So, what do you see social media wise in relation to dogs in Norway? Like, what's the online culture like over there?
Um, it looks like a lot of people are just like they want a cool dog that looks good, and they have their issues with them, and then it has started to become popular to do dog sports like agility
Okay,
and
IGP.
yeah, stuff like this. So, and that's a good trend, I would say. Like at least then the owners and the dogs will have a connection, and they have something they both can work together. Like dogs, there's nothing more what do you call it,
Satisfying or
satisfying
rewarding? Yeah.
than having a dog that knows what you want. and
Mhm.
the dog knows the other way around.
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. So,
Yeah, I have a she was on the channel actually before Erica. She's got her one of her dogs in agility, and it's so she'll send me videos every now and then, but it's so cool because she's done such a good job with both of her dogs, but now she's got her boy in agility, and you can see just how much fun they have when they're doing it. Um, and that would be the sort of thing where I'd say like if you get a dog and you want to do that, build that relationship first, and then all that extra, that's like icing on the cake, and doing activities like that become more fruitful because if you have that bond established correctly already, then
yeah,
it makes teaching that dog or guiding the dog through those things so much easier because the dog wants to listen. The dog, there's not all this
absolutely.
resistance and friction and um, or I don't know if I need to dig up more clips, but I have one video where I was showing when it's called "When Dog Training Goes Wrong," Sports Edition, and it shows in the middle of competition, some of these handlers they get their own dogs attack them because well,
And
as
we
I
can
said,
see
like
that.
that you can make things look good for the show,
Yeah,
but the reality of the dynamic you have maybe isn't that healthy. And so I think those are the dogs that end up just kind of, like fuck you to the owner. I'm not doing this anymore, and then
yeah,
they just
yeah.
attack the owner or the handler. And that's
I
just not what
hundred
you want.
no. I do see a lot of people who get puppies and they start throwing that tennis ball and hyping these dogs up, so the adrenaline
Yeah,
is like
yeah,
through the roof, and it's
yeah.
I don't know if I'm agreeing with that kind of because I say you can make your dog as hot as you want or cold as you want. It's all up to the owners,
That's a good
and
way of
it's a
putting
lot of
it. Yeah,
yeah. It's a lot of people who has surprised the Pikachu face after when their dog is 2 years old and all they think about is this ball. They're
yeah,
obsessed with this
yeah,
ball and they can't think about anything else because
yep,
that's their caffeine.
right.
But
That's actually a really good point because, and I've worked with clients who they had puppies, and it's I don't know, it's just something here in our culture. People seem to have this idea that when you get a dog, whether it's a puppy or an adult, you just go out and buy all these toys for them, and I've seen that especially with the younger dogs, and it's always the squeaky stuff or all these different things you throw, and I point out to them that I would hold off on all of that. And for me, I wouldn't even the squeaky toys, I just never buy them anyway. But yeah, you can create a neurotic dog because you're overstimulating them all the time with these activities rather than
mm,
let's remove all that for now and focus on because puppies need socialization and discipline more than anything. And then there's a
100%.
time and place for play, but it shouldn't be this excessive constant. That's all you do is you're engaging this dog and letting their mind run a million miles an hour, getting in every little thing they can. It's that structure isn't there, and then they grow up being like that,
Yeah.
and then you have this dog that just can't focus on anything, and
It's
yeah, it
quite sad
becomes
to see.
obsessive.
Yeah. And it's a hard road to fix that kind of behavior. Uh, it can look easy, but it takes time and as you repetitions, thousands of repetitions
Yeah,
before
yeah,
it's. I see a lot of in Norway e-collars are illegal, and I don't
okay,
have any opinions about it, but I do see a lot of dog trainers over in the States
hmm.
have very many dogs that they're very confident
Yep,
and they're out
yep,
with the Rottweilers and the pit bulls and they're ready to push the button every time. And I'm like, yeah, I would love to see you do this without the e-collars.
without the e-collar, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Uh,
take the collar
yeah.
off and let's see what the see what the dog
Yeah,
does
but we have trained dogs for thousands of years. This
without
e-collar
any of
thing,
that.
it's
Yeah,
the last 40 years or something. Like
yeah,
I think it's unnecessary. Uh, of course, it probably works, but I want my dogs to know that I'm the where it comes from.
Right.
I want them
Comes
to
from
listen
me.
to me. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not some invisible force that are uh,
Right. And it's that's
yeah,
one thing because sometimes people will ask me my thoughts on it. Even former clients who I've only had a couple though, but I always say, well, because I'm like you, like I don't have an opinion on them. I don't use them. I'm not against them. I think if used appropriately, they can be beneficial, but most of the people that go out and get them don't know how to use them appropriately. And I would even say most of the quote trainers that use them probably aren't using them appropriately either. I've heard horror stories from people that have hired me about people that showed up before me using e-collars and and totally just doing way more damage to their dog than ever needed to be
absolutely.
done. But um,
Would you
yeah, it's
put
like I'm
one
not.
on Goose? Would you
No,
put one on Goose?
hell no.
Exactly.
I don't need.
Yeah,
Why
no,
would I? I don't
no,
need to.
exactly.
No, and I'd say like certain dogs in certain situations, if you want to go that route, just know what you're doing. But to me, the goal should always be to eventually take it off. So
Yeah,
if you can't make that the end goal, um, then something's wrong, in my opinion. But
yeah,
I've heard people use them with success and they get results. It's like, hey, great, good for you.
yeah.
I've just in 15 years, 16 years, I've never needed them, never wanted
No,
them, never because my goal is always to be able to take everything off, collars,
yeah,
leashes, whatever. I want my dog to be free, you
yeah,
know, in all the ways.
100%.
Yeah, and that means not even having a collar on. It's just being out
No,
there. But that's just me. That's my preference. And I don't begrudge anyone who uses them, but I do see in America, especially, there seems to be there's almost an over reliance on it. And oh, the thing I was going to say to your point is I've had people ask me about them, and I'll say, well, listen, if you're going to use them, you want to make sure that it makes sense to your dog. So make do something alongside the e-collar that lets them know that this stimulus is coming from you, and it's not just
yeah,
some. Because I've heard of situations where it can cause a dog to become kind of paranoid because they don't
yeah,
understand, well, like where's this coming from and why is this happening? And then it happens
yeah,
repeatedly, and now
yeah.
you're uh, that's a total net negative. Um, I know that can be a situation that you really can't repair. You create a dog who's paranoid all the time and always
Mm.
kind of anticipating where's this thing coming. And I wouldn't want
Yeah.
to do that to my dog personally.
It's kind
Um,
of the same as with if you know the laser. A lot of people want likes to play with laser with their dogs.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I wouldn't
And the
recommend
dogs
that.
get obsessed with lights, if it's a reflection from a watch or from a fork, and the dogs are boinkers over these lights. It's also difficult to turn around. It's all fun and games in the beginning, but
Right.
oh, it's so sad to see these dogs when they're
I I
all
had a
over the
neighbor.
place.
Yeah, a neighbor used to live here, and I had talked to them, and I kind of gave them like a free little uh, demo out here in the courtyard. They were going to hire me, but some other things happened and they ended up moving. But that was one thing when I first met their dog that they would do. Their son had a pointer laser, and he was constantly. And this was it. What
Yeah,
kind of dog was this? This was a oh my God, I can't remember what kind of dog he was, but he was the kind of dog where some people recommend like tracking activity. I cannot remember what kind of dog he was, but they thought it was beneficial for him. And all I saw was this dog just obsessively chasing this dot, but there was never an end to it. There was no payoff,
no,
and so they were talking about how the dog was behaving in the house, and I didn't really think about it at the time, but I went and investigated it after, and I came to the conclusion, I'm like, yeah, this whole laser pointer thing is a bad idea. So
yeah,
I would not do that.
no,
Or if you did it, I would create like a structured game, but there should be like a payoff for the dog where it's not just chasing this ethereal thing and never getting anything out of it. and it shouldn't be just this random like I'm just going to point this light wherever, like a cat, you
No,
know.
no.
Um, but I guess like if I were to do that, I would there would be some kind of structure and game to it, and there would be something in the end for the dog to actually get out of it, you know, rather than
Yeah, they have to
because
catch
otherwise,
it.
yeah,
Yeah, they have
yeah,
to
there's got to
catch
be
it,
something to
and
catch.
then yeah, 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 100%.
Otherwise, it's like imagine chasing this thing. You're trying to hunt this thing that you can't
Yeah,
ever, and it's just no, it's not satis. It's like because I tell people too with the toys, like think of it this way: when you play fetch, you know the whole point of your dog chasing something is what to catch it and eat it.
yeah,
And so I think it'd be far better to throw. And I got this, you know, Brandon Fouché talks about this, but throw food rather than balls. Because you know, I mean,
yeah,
sometimes, especially with the puppies, I see this more so with the puppies. The adults, it seems to not be so much of an issue, but with the puppies, since that it's like a base instinct to chase things, they'll get a hold of these toys or balls, and then they'll rip them up, and it'll kind of make them aggressive.
yeah,
And I have pointed out to people before that could be because the dog is expecting like food at the end of this. And because it's
yeah,
just like in their DNA, I chase and I get something to eat out of this, but there's
yeah,
nothing to eat here. So
yeah,
it maybe can frustrate the dog a little bit. So if you throw
100%.
food instead, you know, that would be like a satisfying way to conclude that chase. You know, there's something at the end of it that they actually instinctually makes sense rather than a ball or a piece
Absolutely.
of plastic, you know.
Yeah, yeah, they're very easy-minded. It's very. It makes a lot of logic if we think about it. But we
Yeah.
humans, we are like, oh, it's such a cute dog. Oh, we want to
Right,
play, and
right.
and then
Yeah.
it just happens, you know.
Mhm.
It just happens. People when they come home from school with their puppy and hello, and the dog pees of excitement, you know.
Yeah,
Oh no, the dog pees every time we come home. Yeah, but you have to ignore your dog, like
yeah,
if you
yeah,
want it to stop. Oh, but it's so
yeah.
difficult because we're so happy to. So
Yeah, I know. I personally don't understand that. I don't understand why people have such a they can't not engage in certain ways with their dog, and to me, it baffles me because I don't
yeah,
know. To me, it's just natural to do it this way. And when I see how much calmer and better off my dog is as a result of not engaging this way, it just seems a bit self-serving to be just like, well, I want to do this, even though it may not be the most beneficial thing for my dog.
100%.
And I just don't understand why people, you know, they're so it's like a compulsion, like we can't help it. And it just never made sense to me why, um, especially when it comes to like affection. It's like people
Yeah,
have to pet the dog, we have to touch the
yeah,
dog, we have to. But why? Has
yeah.
anybody really like sat down and thought about like why do I need to do this? What you know is this more for me than the dog and what's behind it all? You know,
It's crazy. We
because
got a
that's
cash hound here once. It's a Spitz breed. Spitz breed are barkers, if you know. Yeah, but you and I would not have a barker. Let's say it this way. But it's an older couple. They have a Spitz breed dog, and this dog was barking. But also, it's barking all day, every day.
oh
When
my
it was
god,
in, when it was out. When they came here to my dog hotel, and when they came with the car, I heard a dog bow wow wow in the car, you know, and outside, and I was like, oh my god, and the woman and the man was like, oh no, and is trying to pet him and stop him and everything imaginable. And I said, please just give me the leash. Just give me the leash. I took the leash and I took the dog in and I made myself straight in the back and I took the dog right next to me and I just hold him there with my arm was stiff like this, but I just hold the dog there and all of a sudden he was silent. That was the first time they have heard him silent in other people's presence ever. And since that dog is here, every time he's here, he's the most quiet dog we have here. He doesn't make a
That's
sound. He
fun.
doesn't make a sound in
Yeah.
when I take him in. It doesn't make a sound when I take him out. But when his owner comes to pick him up, then he starts barking.
Starts barking. Yeah. Yeah. That
It's
doesn't surprise me at
so
all.
crazy to see.
Doesn't surprise me at all. Yeah, I and it just and I've had similar things, not so much with barking, but when I'm trying to show people how to walk a dog on the leash,
Yeah,
and I see all the things they're doing wrong, and then I take the leash just to show them again, and you see the immediate change in the dog, and they're watching, and as soon as they take the leash again, the dog goes back to, and so I'm trying to show like, hey, do you see the difference in when I take the leash versus when you take it?
yeah.
How the dog changes. And so I'm just trying to show them that it's not the dog. The dog is
No,
just responding to what you're giving it. Um, and so, but that's something that's like it's hard to teach.
it's difficult.
Yeah, you can convey it in words to somebody, but to be able to embody it is that's really the challenge for people is how do I get to that place on an
Yeah,
energetic level and like a mindset level and how I'm coming across with something as simple as just holding a leash or something is
yeah,
not it's not simple but um, it's simple in that it's not we don't there's not a lot of moving parts. It's just I'm holding a leash and my dog's at the end of it.
yeah.
But there's a lot of different subtleties there, a lot of different little moving parts. um, and that for me has always been the hardest part is being able to get somebody to that point to where they can feel what it is I'm putting into words. Until
Because
you
because
feel
the
it.
dogs don't trust them. The dogs don't trust their
Yeah,
owners.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
definitely.
all I want to say in my mind is like, please just trust me. Relax. We got this, you know.
Hmm.
But the owners, we have a rule when the people come and deliver their dogs. Please don't make a big deal out of it. Don't say bye bye. Oh,
Right,
usually
just
we
walk
see
out
the
the
dogs.
door.
Yeah, usually the
Yeah.
dogs run free when they come in the gate. Like, some, oh yes, we're here, and the owners are like, bye, bye,
Yeah, right.
bye, and the dog is like, what do you want? And then if it's a dog that is a little bit nervous, that sucks because then they took the dog from one mindset back to their own mindset in the moment they're leaving. So
Right.
then the dog will
Yeah.
stand crying by the gate when they're going, and I was like,
Yeah.
this is not
And
the point.
no, and I don't think people. It's hard for people to realize when they do that. It's like the energy you're putting out there towards your dog. Imagine
Yeah,
how your dog sees it when you're saying goodbye like that. Your dog doesn't see it the way you do. It's not
no,
receiving it the way you think. You're coming across. Like you can do that with a person, maybe a child, maybe your child or something. And
yeah,
even maybe your child, once it reaches a certain age, is like, come, like, shut up,
yeah,
calm down. Like, it's
yeah,
not that big of a deal. But your dog is,
yeah,
is yeah, is reading that differently. And so, but that goes back to what you said, because I totally agree with you. The dog does not
yeah,
trust you. It's because it's not the needs of the dog are not being met on a social level with all those leadership components. So how can your
yeah,
dog trust you? Is if all you ever give it is excitement and inconsistency and love and affection and all this unstable emotion, all it's just like this roller. Like, yeah, how can you trust that?
yeah. It's the
It's
same
but
when they come back from holiday too, or the whole family is coming and they have the cameras up, and they're like,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
the dog is like, and I'm like, please just be calm. If everybody is just calm, then this
right,
can be a good experience for everybody.
right.
But
I
it's challenging to working with
It's very
people.
challenging.
It is,
Yeah, the
yeah,
I always it's like the phrase now where you're training the people, not the dogs are easy. You're training the people.
yeah, yeah,
But I can't
100%.
tell you, how many homes I've walked into where I've heard the same thing from the owner. where I'll walk in and the dog gives me a totally different response than they normally give guests. And the owner will say, like, oh my God, he's never been that calm when somebody walked in the door. And I'll say, well, that's because I'm not doing what probably everybody else who walks through the door does. I'm not all baby talking
Yeah.
the dog, excited, getting in the dog. I'm not doing any of that. I'm just ignoring the dog
No.
when I walk in. And so I'm not giving
100%.
all that same energy the dog that everybody else gives. And so the dog is getting something completely different. And I'm not really feeding into the dog that way. I'm giving the dog something calm and stable to read, as opposed to, and sometimes, if it's a dog you don't know, and you're an unfamiliar presence, you walk into this house and you engage that way, some dogs will take that as being a bit threatening. And so even on a safety level, it's not a good idea to walk to somebody's home that you don't know with a dog you don't know and engage that way, because
No.
you can actually get bit that way. You
100%.
know, and I don't know if you saw the video I made a couple of weeks ago where I was talking about this when people first meet dogs and they go to touch them on their head, dogs they don't
Yeah.
know. I see it all. I see clips all the time of this where the dog will snap at them,
Yeah.
and it's just a good practice to a good rule of thumb. Like when you go out in the world, I don't care if you see a dog on the street, you pass a dog and their owner on a trail, you go to somebody's. Anytime you meet a new dog, just ignore the dog. Like don't touch
100%.
the dog, don't talk to the dog, don't none of it. Um, in some cases, it may even spare your life. In some cases, that's just a good thing to do. In the same way
Yeah.
that you meet a random person and you're not going to be jumping all over them or you don't. We don't do this to people, so don't do it.
No.
Don't do it to dogs.
I think small dogs are getting a lot of hate, especially on YouTube and stuff. If somebody sees a little barking dog running after another, everybody's like, "Oh, I hate that little rat dog," and
Yeah,
"Oh, I hate
yep,
those little
yep,
dogs." And I
yep.
feel like I feel a little bit because my Jack Russells are small, but they are big dogs, like in their minds.
Yeah,
I think
I
it's
know what you mean.
really sad because people treat dogs differently. You can
They
tell,
do.
like, uh, I had a neighbor who was out raking his lawn. He didn't mean this in a bad way, but he was taking some bushes and he was like making some, uh, macho movements towards
Hmm.
my smaller dogs.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And my dog's of course like, oh my God, why does he does this? I was like, calm down, I got this. And I told my neighbor, oh, you should have tried doing this with my Cane Corso or my Rottweiler.
Right, right.
you know.
Yeah,
So uh, he would never do that. So I think small dogs does get treated differently, and
they do.
most of them will act, especially small children. Also, they a small dog, and and they come like this
Yep,
over the
yep,
dogs, and
yep.
I always try to teach them to if because I do let people pet my dogs. I want them to pet them on
Chest,
yeah,
or I always say
yeah,
like, yeah, just under the
yeah, yeah,
chin or
yeah.
something like that. Yeah,
Yeah, just to
yeah.
make them trust the person, because who the hell wants to be petted on the head?
Nobody, nobody.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
My
because
Labrador, he loved everything.
oh yeah, yeah. Some dogs
But
just don't care, but
yeah,
a lot of dogs do, and even Goose. Like
yeah,
when a new person meets her and they
yeah.
go over, I always see her. She doesn't like it either. She
No,
won't do anything, but I could
no,
see the way she reacts to it. And so it's just, yeah, you'll have dogs that are very accepting of it, don't care. You have dogs that will bite you over it, or you have dogs that they'll show they're very uncomfortable with it.
yeah,
And so I just wouldn't do it at all. It's not a good
no,
idea. Um, there was something you just said, and it
yeah.
reminded me of a. Now I can't remember what I was going to say. It was
I'm so
oh, well, so because anytime I get a client call me and they have a little dog, or it's like an aggressive Chihuahua, or it's always the same story. And
yeah,
as soon as I get them on the phone, I'll ask them, or I'll even tell them. I say, well, it's common in my experience that people, when they have littler dogs, they tend to just baby them too much and they spoil them. And so I'll ask them a series of questions, and the answers are always the same,
Yeah,
and they'll even admit it, like, yeah, you know what, I do baby her too much, or but it's like it's always the little dogs do get, unfortunately, um, it's either they get babied a lot
yeah,
and they don't get what every dog needs regardless of size, or like you said, it's people tend to maybe think they can push them around a little bit, and
yeah.
uh,
And especially children, because if they grow up in homes with children, from they are throwing toys and they don't
oh
mean
yeah,
it. Like
yeah,
the children don't mean it, but they always want to stick that. Try and see what happens, I
yeah,
see that all the time
yeah,
because a lot of schools and kindergartens and stuff, they come because we have a stable and horses and chickens and everything, and they're allowed to come in the daytime with their teacher to come see the animals and stuff. And there's always some boys, sometimes girls too, that they pick up a little stick or something, and they are on the sideline, testing
mm,
if any animals are reacting. And
yeah,
especially, it doesn't matter if it's a big dog or small dog, but this that dogs goes after people's foot is often because children has, they have been playing with their jeans or something, and
yeah,
they are kicking a little bit, and the dogs get so obsessed with
yeah.
feet
They're
because, yeah,
antagonizing the dog. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Well, shoot,
And
I
I
see
can say,
adults do that. Even adults do that. So it's like
I
they see all
know, I
these
see it
like
all the time.
stupid pranks on social media where they have this like,
Yeah,
why do you do this? Don't
yeah.
do this to your dog. You know,
Yeah, it's so respectless. What do you call it? Yeah, it's not.
disrespectful.
I
Yeah,
don't disrespectful. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I remember even there was I've done live streams at this place, Whalen Lake, but this was back when it was just me and Bruno after Kaylee had passed away, and I took him to the lake, and there was this guy. He was an older guy. He looked like Santa, like he could be a Santa Claus, uh,
Yeah.
impersonator. But he had this golden retriever, and I've seen him there more than once, and he's always just like a grouch, just like an asshole. And so he took this dog by this tree, and he was yelling at this dog. I mean, really loud too, and he was like yanking on the leash, and this dog was not doing anything. He was just trying to get the dog to follow him, and he's screaming at it. And I'm looking
Yeah.
around like people are just walking past, like I'm like, does nobody care that this guy's just
Yeah.
yelling at this dog, jerking on this leash? So finally, I screamed back at him. I said, "Hey, there's no reason for that." And he's like, "Well, what the fuck you gonna do, asshole?"
Oh no! Oh God! Yeah.
So
Oh,
I just went back at him, and I forget what I said to him, but he got quiet, and somebody walked past and like, "Hey, good for you, man." I'm thinking, well, I'm like, what? Nobody else had the balls to say anything to this guy. I mean,
yeah.
oh, his excuse was, "Well, I'm deaf," or "She's deaf." So, but he
That's
was
even
not like,
worse.
yeah, he was not projecting his voice like, no, he was screaming at this dog.
Yeah.
He was clearly upset, and
Yeah.
I'm like, what is the? There's no reason for this.
No.
The dog wasn't even doing anything. The dog actually looked like a really nice dog, but um, or I at that same park, it was a different day, but I had taken Bruno there, and we got back, and I'm walking to the car, and I hear whining, and I'm like, where's that coming from? And I was able to figure out that it was coming from a car that was parked across from mine. So I walk over to it, and there's this dog, and now this is like an 80-degree day in the summer. The windows were up. There was a bowl of water in there, and there was this dog in there. And the dog
Fucking
was
hell.
panting and whining, and I was like, whose fucking dog is this? So I'm
Yeah.
standing there just kind of looking around, and eventually I call the cops. And I hate calling the cops.
Yeah,
For
yeah,
me to
yeah.
even call the cops, I fucking hate it.
Yeah.
But we do have a law here. I don't know if you have a law over there, but we have a law here.
Yeah,
Like if you're in that situation, as a good Samaritan, you're legally able to break someone's window if you see a child or a
100%.
dog, and yeah. So I'm like, let me call the cops first. And then as
Yeah,
I'm on the phone with the cops, these two older people come up to the car, and I was like, hey, is this your car, your dog? And you could tell they were very ashamed, but they're like,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah. I said, why the fuck did you leave your dog? They were riding their bikes. You couldn't have taken your dog to go out.
yeah,
Oh, we were only gonna be gone 15 minutes. I've been standing here 15 minutes. You are obviously gone a lot longer than that.
yeah,
So I just kind of verbally shamed them,
yeah,
and the cop, even I still had the cop on the phone. The cop's like, "Oh,
yeah,
sir, please don't." And I was like, "Fuck you! I'm going to say something to him."
yeah,
So I gave him their license plate number as I'm telling him like this is unacceptable.
yeah,
Um, so I hope they at least follow it up with it. But I'm just like, what? You couldn't even. This is a nice day. Yeah, you
yeah,
wanted to go ride. You couldn't even take your dog out. You had to leave the dog in the car with the windows rolled up at an 80 degrees. So it's probably like 100 degrees in that car.
yeah.
What the fuck is wrong with you? I
I've
baffles
seen
me.
a lot of some. I watch a lot of cop cams from America, of course, on YouTube, and there's a
Yeah,
lot
yeah,
of dogs stuck in the cars, and they have to break
yeah,
the windows,
yeah.
and
It's like
uh,
I
but
remember I
it probably
even
happens here in Norway too. But since we're only 5 million, it's a lot less.
yeah,
Happens a lot less.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. There
right.
was even a guy I worked with. He was kind of not the best guy, let's put it that way, but he came to work one day and I don't know if he just told somebody and then the word spread, but he got to work and we found out that he left a dog in his car.
The
And
fuck?
so we're like, why the fuck did you leave a dog? And so I think he actually got fired that day because the managers found out that he left a fucking pit bull in his car. He planned on just leaving it there all night while he worked. It's like,
Crazy.
and that was a summer day too.
Yeah.
But by the time I heard about it, I think he'd already been walked out the building. It was like that.
But also, they also, the in the back of the car where you put the hangers, a lot of people tie their dogs and they forget that their dog is tied to the car and they
How do you
drive off.
forget? Yeah. Oh, I've seen videos of that. I've seen, and
Yeah,
I'm yeah, the ones I saw, it actually looked intentional. Like they did it on.
yeah.
Like there was this woman at a park who she had a German Shepherd tied to her dog or car that way, but it looked like she did it on purpose, and a
Okay.
cop pulled her over. But like, what would possess you to do that? I don't. What?
It's crazy, crazy. And also, right before I will send you the video later, but I saw a rescue center. It was on Instagram, a lady who runs a rescue center, and she was filmed really abusing these dogs. I will send you the video so you can make a video about it because
Oh yeah, sure.
you will lose your mind when you see this video. I was so upset. I
Was
hope
she
she
like a
never gets.
was she like a board and trained person too, or a groomer,
No,
or
she was a rescue
oh,
or some
rescue? Okay.
rescue. Yeah, she was beating and kicking, and it was fucking horrible to watch. I wanted to go through the screen and just oh
Just strangle
yeah,
strangle her. Like
yeah, yeah,
I know we're all human. We're all gonna get frustrated from time to time, but
yeah.
to take it to that level, I just don't understand it. What if the
No,
dog, if you're not capable of maybe stepping away for a few minutes and calming down,
yeah,
or if that happens a lot, maybe dogs aren't
yeah.
the animal you should be working with.
No. You probably also saw the video about it was a year ago or something. Some lady who was training cane corsos. Did you see that video? They had
Maybe.
they
Was
had
that the one where they
leashes.
had two ladies there was a
Yeah,
lady on each side? Yeah.
yeah.
I've never seen the video, but I heard about that. And I didn't really
S-
care to watch it, but I heard
No,
about it.
But it's like, what possesses people? Do they think this is gonna help the dog? There's no way. Like, they're only making it 100 times
Yeah,
worse.
you're making it worse.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. No, and that video still from time to time will pop up into my feed,
yeah,
but I just don't have the heart to click on it. So, but I've
no,
heard about it.
yeah,
Yeah, that was a
no,
big story actually. I was surprised that
yeah,
one blew up like it did.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, it's what I find crazy is that like the two that I reported on recently, and I got to do an update video to the glamour grooming one, but
yeah,
the update to that video is actually that since since it's past the statute of limitations in Tennessee, the cops aren't going to actually pursue anything with this grooming woman, the woman who owns this business, even
yeah,
though they said there wasn't enough evidence and the statute of limitations was up, even though you could see the same tattoo on her wrist as
yeah,
the person who's hitting the dog. It's the same
yeah.
tattoo, same body type, same skin color, and I'm like,
Yeah.
you telling me that there's not enough
Come on.
evidence here to but yeah, they said they won't. The statute of limitations up, so they won't pursue anything further. Now, the mayor had withdrawn her public funding, but I don't know since nothing will be pursued. I don't know. Maybe she'll get the funding back. I don't know.
Yeah.
But then that other guy that I did the video on, where he was that streamer, where he was in
Yeah.
Canada.
Oh my God.
Uh, I
Oh,
check for updates every day, and there's still. They said the cops were looking into it, but there's nothing. I mean, that was like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and nothing. So
no.
unfortunately, sometimes people just they get away with it.
Yeah.
Even though there's like evidence. I mean, there's there's video evidence of it, and
Yeah.
there's still no case. I guess I don't know. I don't know how that all works, but it's
No,
sad.
it is. They're animals and they don't understand our way of anger or it should, yeah. But they do read our body language, and if you have that connection with a dog, they will know if you're
Oh, they will
happy
know.
about
They'll
something.
know if you're
Yeah,
mad. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. And I don't. And
and
you won't really, because when you have that bond with your dog really wants to please you most of the time.
yeah,
And so even just a little bit of you getting firm with them, you can see it in the dog. They're like, oh, I fucked up, and they don't.
yeah,
Your dog doesn't want to fuck up. Your
no,
dog doesn't want to do anything wrong, especially when you have
no.
that great relationship. They're not seeking to upset you or um, you know, um, so even a little bit um, will get the job done.
I think Goose is a perfect example. Also,
Mm,
my Marley, he was such a fair leader, if I may use that word. It was never too much. His presence and his way about going around with things. Just other dogs respected him. It was
mhm.
so amazing to see. I could have like 16 dogs outside with different emotions and stuff. But when I took out Marley, he would calm everybody down. Uh, all the young dogs was looking up to him. It was he was such a good dog. I can't, and I was never going. I said to myself 20 years ago, I will never have a Labrador. I'm not gonna have a Labrador.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they called me from the vet's office, the owners of this dog, when he was 1.5 years old, and because he had been here once, and when he came out of the car for the hotel stay, I said, "Oh my God, this dog is beautiful. I already love this dog."
Yeah.
And when he left, I said, "If you ever are thinking about rehoming him, please just call me. I will take him." And a few months later, they called me because the husband was away at sea and the wife was home with 2 or 3 children. He was a young Labrador. He was stealing from the benches and opening
Ah.
doors. And He was just in the. He was a boy. He was in the worst age. But she called me and said she was crying and, oh yeah, the vets are saying we can just put him down, and but I wanted to call you first. And I was like, heck yeah, I will take him.
I'll take him.
Just
Right,
come with him right now. I will take him.
right.
And that's the best choice I ever. This dog has taught me so much, so incredibly much. I could talk for hours about him and everything we've been through, and yeah, no, and now I'm scared of getting a new dog because, of
Ah,
course, I'm gonna have to have a bigger dog, and yes, I'm going to have another Labrador, just because they are so usually easy dogs to, maybe
usually, yeah. Usually.
Bruno wasn't the easiest, as
Well,
you
no,
said.
Bruno was a Beagle Bulldog, but
Oh yeah,
Grizzy's
Grizzly, yeah,
Grizzy. Yeah, he
yeah,
was not so easy chocolate lab, but he's not the usual lab. Now I've met a handful of difficult labs, but yeah, most of the time they're not.
yeah.
Um,
I
but
don't know if you
so
watch Stony Dennis.
what's that?
Do you watch Stony Dennis? Stony Dennis, the Labrador guy
Oh,
from.
I know who he is. I haven't watched a lot of his content though, but I know who he is.
No,
Yeah.
yeah. No, I have always said if every dog had a start in life with how he's presenting, then there would be no problems.
Mhm.
Because
Right.
it's, yeah, they're challenged in the right way from the start. All the trust and security and growth, mental and physical growth they get from this kind of training is just, yeah. I wish every dog had a start in life like this. Of course, he only takes in puppies and stuff. He used to train Malinois and stuff like this before, but he says all dogs wants to be a black lab. He says,
So
and of
does he
course
do
I
a lot of
seen,
socialization too then, or is it is
yeah,
that what you mean?
he
Yeah.
takes in dogs, he socializes them, and he takes them through different courses on some kind of agility course. He takes them out in the woods and let them go in the rivers and over trees, and let them get this feeling of achievement that they can. Yeah, it's like we humans also. It's like if you take your children to learn them how to swim and to climb and to just do this physical stuff, it's so important. Um, Instead of just carrying your dog around for the first
Yeah, I
year,
know. Oh,
and
I hate that.
sheltering them. Yeah,
I
yeah,
hate it when I see when they
it's,
got like little chihuahuas in their purse, and it's like let
yeah,
the dog walk. Let the
yeah,
dog wants to walk. Let the dog walk. And I always promote that too. Where I've made a couple of videos. Well, I think only one actually, but talking about how you know adventure is really good for you and your dog. So I was
yeah,
always taking all the dogs I've had. I've always taken them to new areas, new places, and it's just good to expose them to do things and get them out of their comfort zone a little bit. And it's good, of course, it's good for us to do that, um, but that's also no matter what age your dog is, it's really good to do because it just um, you can build a lot of confidence that way. And when you're able to put yourself in a new situation with your dog, something you haven't encountered before, that can build a lot of trust between you and your dog too. Because now you know you can handle it, and you can lead your dog through those situations, and
yeah,
it builds a lot of confidence.
yeah,
And that's really, um, really good. And if your dog's too sheltered, so I've even seen it where dogs will only if they're only used to being in this certain small area, they don't really go beyond it. Sometimes it's like this is life right here,
yeah.
and I don't want my dog to be mentally stunted like that.
No, 100%. It's yeah. I take, like, when I have puppies, I take them straight to the stable. I go with my rake and I take the leaves, and I have them on a leash around my stomach, so I have my hands free. But I want my dogs to, like, follow me everywhere what I'm doing. Like,
Mm,
okay, now we're getting the mail and we're taking the trash up to the road, or we're just regular everyday stuff. It's so important because people get stuck up on teaching them how to sit or lay down, or
yeah.
they get, yeah, they're more, oh, my dogs know 5 tricks, and I'm like, please, the tricks, you can teach them later. First you have
Yeah.
to. So
I've even had clients ask me, like, we'll finish with a session, like, oh, well, when can we get to like the tricks? And it's like, don't focus on tricks, right?
no.
This is not about tricks. And or I'll see when I get a new lead on different platforms, the message the owner sends is something like, I'm having these issues, but my dog really is very good, knows how to sit, stay, come. And I'm like, and it's another example of, I always talk about how sit, stay, come, and all that bullshit has nothing to do. It's not going to help you if you have behavior problems. And so, because I see
No.
that a lot where people will say that, but then they'll talk about these issues they're having. It's like, well, there's another example of these things don't help. You know, um,
100%.
yeah, it does. It's like icing on the cake, but they don't address the root of the issue. And I always always talk about, when I do live streams with Goose, like, I've never trained her. I've never spent any time doing any of that. But yet, how is it that she follows me around everywhere? And if I tell her to stop, she stops. And she listens, but I didn't train her to do any of that. There
No,
was
exactly.
no drills and no trying to make associations with command. We didn't do any of that,
No.
and I didn't really do that with my previous two dogs. And so it's just never something that really interested
They
me.
just they become a part of you.
Yeah,
Kind
yeah,
of. Yeah.
they're like an extension of you almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
I
but
was out
it's a
walking.
oh, go ahead.
Sorry.
No, I was just gonna
No,
say, it's just a clear example of the connection. There's a clear connection there. And it's something you can see. It's measurable.
yeah. I was out walking my dogs, three Jack Russells and my Labrador, when he was alive. And all of a sudden, there was a guy who had his car had broke down. And this is a busy place where people walk, a lot of uh, hiking and stuff next to this road. And he was, oh, I need some help with my car, and please, can you help me push and get some help, because, yeah, it was an older guy. And I was like, fuck, I have 4 dogs. What should I do? And I was like, sit here. Everybody sit still. And all my dogs were just, they were so behaving so perfectly while I went and did something else. And I never trained them to do this. They just,
Yeah,
okay, she's helping somebody. She told us to sit here. So we just,
they knew what you wanted. They knew what you meant.
yeah.
Yeah,
And I love this feeling that I have with my dogs. And I want everybody to have this feeling with their
that's
dogs.
what.
Like,
Yep, yep.
yeah,
That's what I always say. Is like, that's to me, is the goal. Is I will want for everybody to experience the kind of relationships that I've had with all my dogs. And
yeah,
um, Petunia the pit bull and her owner are one of the clients that I've had who've reached that level, and it's just so satisfying to
yeah,
when you can talk to a client and they can tell you that they know they've experienced it, they know what you mean when you're talking about that. It's so
yeah,
cool, you know.
it is.
But yeah, life is so it's easy and it's so much more rewarding when you have that, especially when you have multiple dogs that you have
Yeah,
that bond with. It's very satisfying,
yeah.
So
We ha-
so
we used to have a lot of like bird dogs was like my number one in the beginning when I started, I was like, oh my God, how am I gonna help these dogs feel satisfied? A bird dog, they're looking at the sky and at everything. So I started biking with them. Let them just run, like get it all out, And what I could see is when they got to run and the freedom of running, just because walking on a leash all day is not really a good thing for these working breeds.
Yeah.
But the connection I got after I started biking with them is, biking for maybe 15, 20 minutes. They just get to run, run, run. And then they started listening to me. Left, right, stop, wait, all this. So there's ways to build connection
Hmm.
across breeds. You just have to find the main dominator, the thing that tickles their brain, if you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like
And it's not necessarily.
it's like it's the thing that's most valuable to them, right? The thing that
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
you're tapping into that highest instinct
yeah,
that they have.
yeah,
Yeah, it's um and because it really, to me, communication is such an important thing, and when you can communicate effectively and your dog understands you, then that's how you bridge that gap where you don't have to train the dog, but the dog will understand what it is you're saying to them, and so you can get the same result because
yeah,
it's I make the analogy with human relationships. Like, we don't necessarily train the people around us, but the way we communicate with one another establishes particular relationship dynamics. And so it's the same thing with your
yeah,
dog, where just the way you communicate with it will establish things a certain way. And so that's really all
yeah,
you need is, how do I communicate with my dog effectively? And that, to me, that's really the foundation of it all. Is um and everything just clicks. It's
yeah.
there's no guesswork.
The same with my Jack Russells. As I told, I had them with rabbits, chickens, guinea pigs, and everything from they were small. And of course, some of my Jacks still have the instinct, but they won't do anything. And my friend, she had some chickens on the run. And I was like, wait, I think I can bring my youngest Jack Russell to come help you. And they were like, no, they're far gone. They're already dead. So I just brought her and I told her, Ronja, you have to help me find the chickens. And then I just showed her, there was like a big bushes everywhere. And I just pointed, find the chickens. She had never done it before. And she started smelling, 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 smelling. And then she stopped and she stood absolutely still. And I was like, I think she might have found the chickens. And I went into the bush and there they are. Everybody is sitting right here because the owners have been looking for them for 2 days and haven't found these chickens. They were quite young and quite scared.
Oh, wow.
But she found the
Found the chicken.
chickens, and she didn't do anything to scare them. She just stood her ground and
Yeah, yeah,
found. And that's a way I find is a good way to build a relationship. Like when you
hmm
have this little and you feel proud, and
yeah. They
the
they
dog
sense that
feels you
from you.
feel
Yeah,
that you feel proud of them.
yeah,
Yeah. And also, a lot of people forget to just tell their dog they're good without having giving them orders. If a dog is good just by being good, you should let them know this is a good, great
yeah.
job. You're
Praise is a
like,
powerful thing. Yeah,
oh God, you need to go
yeah.
to your bed.
And it's
Yeah,
um when you reach a certain level with your dog, that's really all you're doing, is because everything is so smooth and easy that it's just praise all the time. Because they're always doing
yeah,
the right thing, and it's
yeah,
even when I have dogs that come in that need a higher level of discipline, there's still always I'm always looking for those moments I can praise them because I also
Yeah.
want to tell them what it is that I really like. You know, even though canine communication is all it's really all centered around what I don't like from you. I think the
Yeah.
one thing that humans can add to that is we also have the ability to tell a dog what we do like, you know,
Yeah.
and that's um so, but it's just a matter of timing those things correctly, you
Yeah.
know. But I've seen praise become, especially when it's coming from the owner or from that person that the dog i- holds most valuable, then that praise means a lot more,
Yeah.
and that can really do a lot, definitely. And to me, the praise is will far supersede a treat or or anything
Oh,
like that, you
absolutely.
know. Because then it's also coming from you too. It's also it's again it's a relational thing, not adding something in the middle of it,
Yeah.
you know. Because
100%.
you can reward your dog with food with say, hey, give him a nice juicy steak tonight or something. You know, it doesn't even have to be like
Yeah.
we'll get a treat to a training thing. It's more just like, hey, I'm proud of you, man. Here, have a bone or have a something that you don't usually get, you know. Um, but it's
Yeah, the pocket that goes all day long. I don't really necessarily believe in that. I do believe that, as you say, a good meal at the end of a good day is just as rewarding,
oh yeah,
and will
yeah.
stick to the dog's brain just the same.
Yeah,
So
'cause I love just giving Goose like a nice fat rib to chew on, and she loves that.
yeah,
Or um, she really loves balloons, you know. So like, I'll just pull out a balloon and blow one up, and she gets all excited, and it's just she loves it, you know. It's something fun for her to do, um,
yeah,
and it's just a different type of activity that she really it satisfies her, you know. And so um, it doesn't always have to be this machine like yeah look like I can't stand the little treat pouches. They're not every time I see one, it drives me nuts every time I see a treat pouch. I just want to rip it off the
yeah,
person. Like fuck this thing. I don't know. Let's just throw away
yeah.
the treat pouch.
I have customers. Yeah. I have customers who comes in. Sometimes I invite them in if I only have a few dogs because it's the first time they're here, and they're, of course, I see their treat pouch and I was like, oh my god, this is. Am I gonna say something or should? No, it's
Right.
okay. It's okay, and I know that their dog will not like when the other dog also comes sit next to their mom
Yep. They're
and
gonna
wants a
compete
treat.
for it. They're gonna compete
Oh
for it.
yeah.
Yep.
I can
Yep.
see all these things before they happen. I'm always ready to step in.
Yeah.
And this
Yeah.
this one lady, she was like, "Oh my God, I've never done this before." But I knew it was gonna happen because her dog was only around her feet, waiting for that treat. For
Hmm.
doing nothing, just by sitting down next to her. Like, why are you treating your
Right.
dog
Why are
when
you
it?
giving me a treat? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Then what's the purpose behind it? It doesn't. Yeah. Like
no,
I've seen people do that too, where it's like every few seconds they're giving the dog a treat, and I'm like,
yeah,
what? Why? What do you?
yeah.
I don't know if you heard me tell
What are
this
you
story
teaching your
about.
dog?
Yeah. Like what is the point? You know why? You know, and then
Yeah,
the dog stops every few seconds and looks at you. It's because now it's expecting it. But
yeah.
I remember I had a client. It was a great session with this very large golden retriever named Otis, and when I met the family, they were telling me about how they used to take Otis to these like day training classes. Like they go drop the dog off and pick him up at the end of the day. Well, they told me how I think it happened maybe twice, once for sure, but they brought Otis home one day and he threw up this just like mountain of kibble, but it was all treat. You know, they had given him so many treats over the course of the day, like he threw it all. He came home and threw it up, and I'm like, how can this be good? Uh, Never mind the training problems with it, but on a health level, like how is that? That is not good. I'm sorry.
No,
That's so she
and
was
also
very
today,
pleased when. nothing we did involved treats, so she was very happy about
No.
that. You know.
Yeah, a lot of dogs have stomach issues and stuff also, and many of the treats people are buying, they buy from the store, and it's like
Yeah.
4% chicken meal,
Hmm.
corn,
It's all, yeah,
starch,
processed shit that
and
it's yeah,
and the dogs get so sick. It's like hell
yeah.
no. So
Yeah, and it's we already have a nutritional problem when it comes to how we feed our dogs. And you want to add the treats on top of it. It's like
yeah,
you're far better in my opinion. Just cut up some chicken,
yeah,
raw or
go
cooked,
clean.
and
Yeah,
yeah, and just give that. If you want to
yeah,
give treats to your dog, it'd be far better to do that than
yeah,
buying that shit at the store. Um, but I just yeah, hearing that story cracked me up. I'm like, it to me it's insane. It's like
yeah,
that's how far we've gone with this. Is like we got dogs throwing up because they got so many treats over the course of
yeah,
this training class. It's like
yeah.
wow, man. But
But also, I haven't, when they feed all this. The, you asked me how our day started, and I said we give them
mhm,
breakfast and we have 2 hours break.
yeah.
It's because we don't want them to get a twisted
Oh sure,
stomach
yeah,
when
yeah,
we're
yeah.
training. Yeah, and I always wondered about it because they give so many treats. It could just as well. It's probably
It
their
could,
whole meal.
yeah, it
Yeah.
could. And
So
I've heard that that's more common with like the kibbles that you can get bloat like that.
yeah,
I don't know if I've ever heard of it with just like regular whole foods diet. I mean, I'm sure it's possible. Um,
yeah,
but yeah, if uh, you don't want your dog to be too active after eating because
yeah,
it can cause some problems like that.
yeah.
Um,
I also heard it can happen after feeding. No, after, before and after feeding.
oh, it can happen before too.
So yeah, no, if you and I also water. If you give, I heard dogs getting bloat from drinking too much water, but
Hmm.
I don't, I don't see how that happens.
Yeah, I've never. I'd have to look it up, but I'm
Yeah,
not sure how that would happen either. Because I guess
mm,
from what I understand, the bloat happens as a result of the food. Like I guess there's gases that build up, and it causes
yeah,
the stomach to like twist,
yeah,
and it wraps around like I forget what other organ, and then the dog just dies like a painful, horrible death
yeah,
because it's all like twisting in there.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know how that would happen with water
No,
because there shouldn't be any gases being released
no.
from water.
The videos I've seen are dogs that have been outside in the sun, and their tongues are hanging out, and you see their
Oh, maybe they're
extreme.
like taking in a. Okay, I could see
Yeah,
it happen with that. Then they drink
yeah,
water
yeah,
and now they're breathing in all this air, or
yeah,
maybe they're drinking the water and all this air is going in with it. Okay, I could
yeah,
see that.
yeah.
That's possible.
But I'm always very careful with that because I the pressure of watching somebody else's dog, I set that
Yeah,
really
yeah,
high. I'm
yeah.
so scared something is gonna happen to other people's dogs. I do get dogs that need heart medicine morning and night. They're epileptic dogs that need medicine, and it's not my favorite dogs to take in, if you know what I'm saying, because I know there's issues, and
Yeah.
you have
Could be a
to be, yeah,
liability. Yeah, it's
yeah,
just I get where you're coming from. Just for your
yeah,
own protection.
yeah.
Um, and you could do
We had
everything
a
right.
concorso. We had a concorso coming here. He wasn't from Norway, but we were watching his dog for 7 days or something, and this dog, yeah, he was intact, and here came a female who had was in heat, and all of a sudden, this dog just fall over and started having seizures. And I called the owner, like, your dog is seizure. What should we do? Oh yeah, sometimes he reacts to
Oh no.
females in heat, and I was like, oh my god.
Oh,
Of course, and when this dog wakes up, he's confused. All his teeth are baring, and he's like, "Who are you?" You know, and I'm like,
right.
"Oh my fucking god, what have I taken in?" So I decided to just go inside my house, close the door, and watch from the window until the dog came back to his normal
Yeah.
self, because
Yeah.
it's not a situation you want to go over and try to say,
No.
"Oh, it's okay."
Yeah. No. 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 No.
Uh,
No. That's
so
scary situation to be in. I'm sure you were a little relieved though when the owner's like, "Oh yeah, that happened," and you're like, "Oh, thank God it wasn't like
yeah,
something."
but I'm like, yeah, but the female is going to stay here a few more days, so hopefully, so you can come pick him up, because he will have several
Right.
seizures if he's going. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's a problem.
So
I yeah, it's
yeah,
that's a tricky situation for you to be in.
yeah,
Oh, OT. It looks like we got some comment. I'm sorry, OT. I for some reason the chat was off earlier, and I turned it on, so I saw that you were. Appreciate you joining. Um,
yeah. OT.
yeah,
Yeah, it
90
happened.
minutes. 90 minutes is a long. Yeah, yeah. 90 minutes ain't gonna hurt. Let's see. Yeah, little dog. I wonder how if littler dogs are more susceptible to bigger dog. I don't know. I don't know if size has any
I heard
bearing
it
on it.
usually it's bigger breeds, but there was a famous Jack Russell who was on TikTok. He was swimming in the pool and jumping, and but he died from bloat.
Oh,
So it
okay.
can
That
happen
maybe
to
it can
any dog.
happen. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And maybe that was a water. Well, I don't know. Did they say did that dog eat and then get in the pool, or was that dog like
yeah.
taking in
I
water?
think it
Yeah,
did. I think it did. They
yeah. So
didn't
so
think about it.
for those of you just joining, bloat is something that happens, and I've seen it more common if you feed your dogs like dried kibble, but I guess it can happen no matter what you're feeding your dog because if your dog's too active shortly after they eat, it can cause issues like that. And bloat is if you've never heard of the condition, it's a horrible way for a dog to die. But basically, a dog's stomach it starts to twist and it wraps around other organs, and then the dog just passes away. Um,
Yeah, you have like, I don't know, not even 2 hours to get to the vet to try to save the dog if something like that happens.
wow.
And I see a
Yeah.
lot of people, they if it has happened once, they will stitch the magesäck in English, the to the side, so it won't happen again.
Is that what you're saying, OT? Like you said, vets can tack the stomach. Is that what you mean, Freya? That
Yeah,
they'll like pin the stomach so it doesn't twist again.
yeah,
Man, that's crazy. That's a crazy operation. Holy shit.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's something I've worried about too. From just because I know it exists. Like there have been times where I've fed my dogs dried kibble, or maybe it's too hot one day, or just the circumstances are right, and I think about it sometimes, like because it can just happen out of nowhere. I mean, it's so abrupt. Um, but I can't imagine being in that situation. Like everything's good 1 minute with your dog, and then 5 minutes later, the dog is you know uh, dying on the floor. It's like
yeah.
holy shit,
Yeah.
that's horrible. But
I had
what?
my Labrador. He swallowed a dog toy once when he was younger, and we didn't know that he had swallowed anything. But I could after a few days he was drinking, and everything he was drinking came back out, and I was like, "Fuck, this is strange."
Mm,
And I went to one vet, and she was like, "No." She sent me home with some um, medicine to coat the intestinals,
mm,
because she thought it was only, yeah, whatever, something. And I was like, no, I know my dog, something is wrong. So I took him to another vet hospital, and he was like, he's really good, that veterinarian. He has his own animal hospital now. But he took my dog. I was holding him in my hands he's 40 kilos. I don't know what that is in pounds, but he's a big dog. And he said if you hadn't come with him now, he would have been dead. He took him straight to the operation, took out the toy, and saved his life. But he was close to death. It
That's
was a
crazy.
horrible experience. So yeah,
Well, I'm glad
but
that
that
and
was true.
that was your lab. That was your, or was that the
That was my Labrador.
Oh
Right
wow. Okay.
after I got him, actually. Yeah, it
Okay.
was. Yeah.
Well, it's
So
that would have completely sucked if it went another way. Especially given,
yeah,
you know, obviously, obviously you have very fond memories of this is Marley, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
He
that's
usually don't take any. He usually don't swallow anything. I don't know what had
yeah.
happened this one time, but yeah, I've seen dogs swallow balls and
Oh yeah,
sticks,
yeah.
and but the thing is, I think people are also, when they get puppies, they're like, no, 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 don't take it, please. Oh, don't put it. Yeah, so the dogs get have to swallow this before somebody takes it away from me.
Right.
You know, they feel,
Destroy the
yeah,
evidence before anyone sees it.
yeah, yeah. And all my dogs now, if they pick something up, I can say, "What do you got? What do you got in your mouth?" And they just
They just drop
let
it.
go,
Yeah,
and I say,
yeah.
"Oh, okay, you can take it," and then they take it. But I love that they, when I say, "What do you got?" and they let me see. I think
Let it
it's
go. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
And that's how it should go. You know, it's
yeah,
it can be dangerous too, especially if the dog is resistant and it's something they're not supposed to have. And
oh yeah,
now, you know, it's like, but a lot of people will panic, and the panicking is the
yeah,
worst thing you could do. You don't want to
yeah,
panic. I'll never panic in
yeah.
those situations. You know, just
No,
play it cool
stay cool,
and yeah,
calm, and
yeah,
collected.
stay cool, calm, and
Yeah,
collected. Like
yeah.
we'll figure out a way to get it out of there. Don't you know? Let's not push it. Uh-oh. OT.
It's also I throw up, and then I'm reading your OT.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it can happen that fast. You know, it's they'll show maybe some signs, but I think once it starts happening, it's you know it's very quick after that.
Yeah,
Or like you said, I think maybe that you got maybe a 2 hour window. Yeah, and that's why if anybody's watching, like if you have a new puppy, one of the common mistakes that people make is they give their puppy way too much freedom in the house too quickly. So if you have a younger dog, you're going to want to gate a small area of the house that dog can be in, that you can supervise the dog so it
yeah,
doesn't have access to the whole house. And then you know, some people have like a playpen, but I would also recommend like a crate as well, and that way you
yeah,
can rotate
yeah,
um, those areas. You don't want to puppies having too much freedom causes a lot of problems.
yeah. But
So,
also, if the puppies they need to chew, and I see a lot of people
oh
don't
yeah,
give them
yeah,
enough to
yeah,
chew on,
yeah, or
and
they give
like,
them all the wrong stuff, and it's always like
yeah, yeah,
squeaky toys. I'm like, no, 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 just
yeah,
give them things they can chew on. Give them
yeah.
like
Give
some
them
satiating
alternatives,
things.
so
Yeah,
yeah, different choices. So they
right.
something more. So yeah, I
Yeah,
think
and
it's very important.
I'm always drawn to more of the food related because I think it's very satisfying as
Yeah,
well. You know, they're chewing on something that tastes good and it's filling the stomach.
yeah,
And that can be a lot. It's more calming rather than being stimulating, like with a toy. You know, the dog's ripped
yeah,
apart a squeaky toy. Now you're stimulating them rather than relaxing them. You know, and
yeah,
I would much rather the dog relax in that activity than become overstimulated, especially as a puppy. I don't want the puppy to be overstimulated all the time. You know, let's try to raise a nice balanced dog, and toys can be a, a it can work against you, especially
yeah,
with the younger dog, like we were talking
yeah,
about earlier.
yeah,
Um, well, anyway, Freya, I am gonna wrap it up here, but it was so nice to talk to you.
yeah.
If if you want to have anything you want to share as we close it out, you're welcome to share what you like, or where people can find you, any kind of social media or anything. that people can go check your stuff out?
I just have my YouTube channel. I hardly post anything. I working. I had 3 weeks off my work now for the first time in many years.
Oh yeah,
So
you're on vacation, aren't you? You guys
no,
still got a little
yeah,
bit of time left too.
vacation. Closed everything down so we could do some painting and fixing up stuff, and yeah, take some time off because it's been a lot of people and dogs, and I really don't
Yeah,
have
you
any
need
time
a
for
break.
myself.
Yeah, you need a
Yeah,
break. Especially
yeah,
what you said was 3 week break. I mean, that's a good
yeah,
break.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a great break.
It's first time in 12 years.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. You
yeah,
enjoy
yeah,
it. Like you
yeah.
definitely need a break for sure. That's
No,
awesome.
I would like to talk for hours about dogs. We could probably talk for hours. So if you ever want to do this again,
Yeah,
I
we'll
would
do it
love to.
again for sure. Definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then maybe because I've been every time I go on my Streamlabs, it for some reason I don't know what the issue is. YouTube won't verify my account, and so and I can't find anything online about how to fix it. But even Zoom, like Zoom has restrictions on the time limit unless I don't know. So I would like to
Okay.
get a different format, and then maybe we can like go over videos and stuff like that too. And so
Yeah,
I'll figure all that out, you know.
yeah,
But yeah, definitely we'll do this again for sure. It
yeah.
was a great conversation.
And I love seeing Goose and you working together. She's awesome. You're awesome.
Thank you.
Keep doing what you're doing. I think you will be very successful. And yeah,
I really appreciate
I
that, Freya.
yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, and if
So
Viking Dogmanship is Freya's channel, are you is it the same handle? Like, do you have anything else besides YouTube or?
no, I have Instagram and YouTube, but I hardly ever use it. I just sometimes share videos and pictures for owners to go and watch. I never really had a plan about my channel, but yeah,
Hmm.
I sometimes put stuff out there. I probably will do more in the future when I have more help.
Yeah, it looks
So
like most of your videos are you just got the dogs you've got in the daycare and you're off doing, you got them at the beach and you're taking them
yeah,
on little adventures or you've got them in the backyard.
biking
Um,
or
yeah,
hide and seek. I do different just to show the different things you can do with your dog. Different sizes of dogs. I'm really I want all dogs to be used to different sizes. They don't have to play together, but I want them to like accept each other. Like, okay, there's a big dog, there's a small dog. I
yeah,
let them be. Yeah, I just want them to have that common demeanor about, yeah, we're calm, cool, and
yeah. The
collected.
dogs, definitely the dogs I've seen in your videos, they're all very calm. They seem
Yeah. There's a
they're very
few
well
that
balanced.
plays. I let them play and stuff when I
Oh,
find the
sure, sure.
connections. Yeah,
Yeah,
but I also want them to be calm. Like it's
right.
not all fun and games, but yeah,
Right, there's a time for it, and that's
yeah,
part of the structure is
everything.
like to
Yeah,
play, but now it's time to you can just coexist and be at peace with each other,
yeah,
and that those are some of my favorite moments is like we get out there, we play, we hit it hard, and then we come back and it's like
yeah,
relax,
yeah.
as a group, definitely.
Very good. Yeah,
All right, Frey. Well, so wonderful having you. Thank you. And then, like I said, we'll definitely do this again. And I think appreciate everybody for showing up. OT, thank you for chatting. We'll definitely have Freya back. So if anybody has any topics or any questions for her or anything, leave them in the comments. Otherwise, you have a wonderful evening, Freya. Enjoy the rest of your vacation, and
thank you.
we will. I'm sure I'll see you in the comments section very soon. So,
I will send you some links on your email so you
yeah,
can check
yeah. Send me
the
some
video.
links.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Awesome, Freya.
Have a
Have a
great
wonderful
day.
night. Okay. Thank you.
Bye.
All right. Bye.
Bye.